What is going on, Investor Thrive Nation? This is the Painless Wholesaling Podcast, where I bring in experts in the real estate industry to tell us how they got to where they're at right now. And so you can avoid the pitfalls, the pain of investing and trying to figure things out all on your own. That's why I got Noel on here today. He's done many deals. Noel, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in real estate. Just a quick wrap up, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into it.
Real fast. Born in Philadelphia. I'm a former pro athlete, former scientist, and turned full-time real estate investor by being laid off during the Great Recession. And so I've acquired now $7 million worth of real estate personally that I own. And then as a GP, I'm over 15 million.
Wow. Man, you're looking pretty jacked over there. Do you still do workout and do it?
At a young 42 years old, I still work out every day, 5 a.m. I get started, 5 a.m. and get it done.
What do you do? Like, what does the workout look like?
It depends, man. So some days I'm doing yoga, other days I'm in the pool, open water swims. I'm a big Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu guy.
Bro, let's go.
Do some CrossFitting, So yeah, I love to stay active, and I think Jiu-Jitsu is really my thing because it makes you think. It's conceptual thinking, and when you're in real estate, to do deals sometimes, especially at the climate right now, you need to be able to think while you're being a chokehold. That's really how it was. I was one of those people, if you've seen Silicon Valley Bank or First Republic, I had my money with First Republic that just got bought out by JP Morgan. And I was doing refis with them. So imagine being in a chokehold, like you don't know where your money's going. You don't know what you're going to do with your building. And I was like, all right, you got to relax and flow. So I love jiu-jitsu, how it makes you think and not have to panic when you go through this type of, economic environment right now.
Dude, me and you are one of the same. I'm into jiu-jitsu too. I freaking love it, bro. It's like my favorite thing. I wake up at like 5.
You should always try it out or just do it.
Yeah, bro. 5:30. I'm just rolling, bro. Cranking on people, getting cranked on. That's just.
Are you gi or no gi?
No gi. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Do you do gi?
I do both, but I normally I'll do, just because I want to stop all of the scratches. I'm done gi.
Yeah. So I wear the rash guard and all that, but I just went to a black belt ceremony. I'm not a black belt. I've just been doing it for a little bit, but I went to a black belt ceremony on Saturday, and it was fun because I got to see like the guy get the black belt. We rolled with him. Have you been doing it for a while?
Yeah, I've been. I got introduced to jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai around 2012.
Oh, wow.
2012, 2013, and I'm a high shrink person. So jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter how big you are, strong you are, it's technique and flow. It's like human chess. And so you have to flow like water. So it really helps me relax because it's not brute strength of, getting somebody to do, sometimes you can impose your will if you're shooting, but most of the time it's, technique, finesse, trying to predict where someone's going to go. So I love that about it.
And what are you a certain belt level yet?
I'm a blue belt.
Bro, so cool. Yeah, so when I wrestled all throughout high school and a little bit in college, so I had that background, and then I got into jiu-jitsu about like 2 years ago. And when I first started, I was like going balls to the wall, like just trying to crank on people and just like, and they were just like, using their momentum and just moving me Kazushi. And I was like, what is going on? Now, 2 years later, I'm like barely even trying, bro. Like I'm just like following people. It feel like I don't even have to work that hard, to be real. It's amazing. It's fun. So
Yep. That's awesome, man. Yeah.
That's cool, man. And about the yoga, just curious, do you do hot yoga?
Hot yoga on Sundays, because normally that's like my active recovery day. So hot yoga there, but I actually got into the yoga because I wanted to get more flexible. I'm not a big stretching guy. So like I said, I do a lot of activity. I'm like, I need to incorporate this. So I kind of relate that to when you're in real estate, kind of like continuing your education, like what books are you reading? Who are you learning from? I use LinkedIn as like my personal like Rolodex of investors. Like if I see an investor and I'm like, oh, he's doing something that I would like to do. Perfect example, this morning I was on a call and the guy was doing a crowd fund. And I was like, I've never done a crowd fund, how to set it up. And I was like, listen, let me get some free labor. I just want to shadow how you're putting together, how you're doing your distributions. I just want to learn how this is coming together. he's buying like 120, no, 100, 195 units all
Wow.
through like St. Louis, and they're going to crowd fund it. And I was like, I want to learn. So, and I met that guy through LinkedIn, and most people are willing to share long as you're respectful of their time. You
Of course.
come in letting them know what your need is, what you can provide. And that time I never had an issue with someone telling me like scram off or hey, give me $50,000, for this for my time. I never had that. Like,
That's amazing. Yeah. And do you have a podcast as well, by the way?
no, I don't have a podcast. No.
So
I just
that's
like to
actually
share information.
yeah, and that's one thing just I found is like usually having a podcast enables you to bring other people as well to like share their wealth of
Mhm.
knowledge as well. So it sounds like you do it. I kind of use the platform of the podcast to bring people on that I want to learn from. So that's cool, man. I love it. I wanted to ask you about your being an athlete. What did you do as an athlete?
I was a track and field. So I was 2008 games, Beijing. I did end up going to the 2008 Beijing games, but as a guide runner. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a good story about this as well. I like to always talk about this. 4 years of training and it was over in 10 seconds.
Oh man,
4 years of training, and it's over in 10 seconds. And I'm like, shit, I trained actually, it's probably longer than that, but you're really kind of gearing and going. But
yeah.
it's now like, all right, what do you do now? And then I was, United States Olympic Committee had reached out and said, hey, would you like the guide run for somebody that's blind? And so we're tethered together and I'm his mirror image. And when I say that's one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever done in my life, besides teaching people now, just because I got to let him live out his dream. And I try to I really correlate that now to what I do for folks, because I always give like free education and I'm always giving out like my templates, underwriting. I just want to help people achieve their goals, and I always tell people to be very granular on your goals. Most people say like, what do you want to be? Like, I want $1 million. Like, do you really, is that this kind of arbitrary number? Or have you broken down what do you need for your financial independence and financial vitality, and then financial freedom, which are totally different things, and once you actually set that out and actually set a course on that, you're like, well, damn, I can vacation where like how many times I want a vacation per year, drive the car I want to drive if I'm just very granular and organized on what my number is, and then I can know how many properties I need to acquire.
Did you learn that after sports, or did sports help you learn that skill set of setting goals?
Sports helped me, set the goals, and sports also was with failure, learning how to lose. I encourage everybody, I'm not a participation trophy or ribbon guy. I was actually really hard. I'm hard on my nephew. My nephew stayed with me for the summer. He's 15 and, I teach him about real estate and he has his first summer job and how his money, but you need to learn how to fail to succeed. You need to because in this game, you take losses. You shouldn't be taking the same losses over and over again. That means that's a problem in your core systems or your methodologies or your processes if you have the same mistakes happening. But there's going to be loss. It's inevitable. It's like Murphy's law. There's going to be some, especially if you're doing enough volume and you're doing enough things, like there's certain things that you can't predict, whether it's being laid off, whether it's being COVID, whether it's being banks going under, you're going to take some losses, in this game right now. And it's how you push through, and I always say like my first property took me almost 28 months. I went door to door knocking. This is, door to door knocking on folks' doors, asking them, for a property. Back then real estate was less sexy because this is 2009 I'm talking about. So market just crashed. It's not, real estate wasn't as sexy as it is right now, where you had, most people were running for the hills, and I'm up here reading up on it, and I'm going door to door, asking people, can I buy your house? I learned a lesson in that too, was empathy, because I was finding these properties through sheriff sales, which are tax and foreclosure. And what I learned is like no man or woman wants to lose their house because they couldn't pay their taxes or their or their mortgage. It was a rough time around that 2009, and a lot of people were getting laid off during that recession. And I learned a lot of empathy, and I learned again to help people first. So it stopped being sell me your house, or they want to take it. It came to me like, how can I help you? How can I help you first? How can we partner? Number second, you can either, sell it to me or we just depart as, mutual acquaintances. Cause I never talk business at the door. I would invite them out to like coffee or lunch,
Yeah.
at least you're getting something out of that. And then if not, all right, but I said my piece and tried to help.
Yeah, that's amazing. I came from the door-to-door industry before real estate. I knocked doors for 6 years for satellite TV, had some teams, like grew up. So I know what you're talking about, man. Door-to-door, it's a grind.
It's a
But
dude. It's and then, man, I have some stories. Hoses getting
yes,
turned on me. I had some people put
yeah,
pistols out on me,
yeah,
dogs, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, it is rough. And I was probably going on a bad day because I was going on Sundays, but I
Hmm.
I targeted Sundays, and most people are home during the afternoon during Sundays or post church if they did that. So I target Sundays because I felt like that was still the high volume chance that someone would be home. And so
Yeah,
that's why I did it. But that's also the time where people don't really want to be bothered.
yeah.
So it's a risk versus reward situation.
So I'm curious about you're talking about failure is the way to success, right? You learn from your mistakes. So what would you say for the people who like don't want to fail? Like they want to learn everything before they take action. They want to watch videos, they want to like learn stuff before they even do anything. Because that happens a lot.
Yeah, I call it analysis by paralysis.
Right.
You gotta shoot your shot, man. Like
Mhm.
you can't hold the ball and be on the sideline. If you want to play it safe, you got to get in the bubble. And you'll have a safe, mundane life. But if you want a life of adventure and excitement, there's going to be some risk in that. You have to. Tony Robbins has a quote, but it's actually from Eleanor Roosevelt. Is that if
Mhm.
you want to take the island, you burn the boats.
Mhm.
He uses that a lot, but it's Eleanor Roosevelt's quote, whatever. But
Yeah,
it's so
of course.
true. You have to put it out there.
Yeah, and I think there's a quote that I like. It's like if something can't change, it can't progress, right? Like if you're gonna get into something that's like stagnant or you can't improve, like you might as well not spend your time on it, right? Because in business, you're always changing. It's the ever
Yeah,
changing game. So,
always, man. It's always, and you want the ball at the end. It's winners win, and I like to make key decisions. So I like I sometimes I do like that little bit of pressure on me to perform. I always say like every day is like game 7 for me, and I try to approach it that way all the time because you get comfortable.
mhm,
I've been full time investing and technically financially free since
mhm,
2015, 16. And you get comfortable, and when you want to challenge yourself out of your comfort level, that's where you're trying to go to a different peak, and that's where I'm trying to get into a different tax bracket. I'm trying to buy something different, and it's very challenging, and I love that shit. Excuse me, I mean to curse, but I
oh,
love it.
you
Yeah,
love it, bro.
I,
Well,
I love it.
I
Because
agree.
I'm definitely getting beat up right now. I'm doing well in the commercial real estate, but I'm getting lumped up. I won some rounds, but I would say they're
You're
winning the fight right now. But
you're
it's not
right,
over.
right? Well, dude, I think it's amazing because, like you said, you've reached a point where, like, we talk. At least I hear a lot of people like, "Hey, once I retire, I'll be good." But like, look,
Yeah.
then what do you have to
What do you have?
strive for, right? What do you got to live for? So it's really cool to see someone like you where it's like, hey, man, I've kind of got to that point where you could say, hey, I'm good, but every day it's game 7 because that's how I keep going and keep having fun and keep striving, and that's a good place to be. I don't think you ever want to be, like I said, if you're not changing, you're not progressing, right? You always got to be improving. So that's
Yeah.
so cool. So for the listeners that are tuning in, I think we talked and they've got a lot of good value so far. But for if they're in a job right now, if they got a W-2 and they want to get into real estate, can you give them just like one key advice, one thing that they can implement after listening to this that they can do?
Oh, one thing. It's not one thing, but I
Yeah.
I take I take this topic very serious because I'm everybody's on social media. I see Instagram people bashing people for W-2s, and I'm just like, go somewhere with that. Your
Mm-hmm.
W-2 job technically is your first partner.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that as your first partner. As acquiring a property. If I was a W-2 person, I would be looking to say, guess what? What type of property would I would like? If it's me, I'm saying I can qualify for a NACA loan, which is like under 5% down. You can go up to quads, or an FHA loan where you can go up to quads. And I'm leveraging my W-2 to actually qualify for this and move in. acquire it, put the money, rinse and repeat again. There's some companies, like I was allowed, when I was at GSK, I was allowed to borrow from my 401k already and place it into real estate deals. And so I was doing that as well. Another option for W-2 people, self-directed IRAs. You don't have to put your money into the company's 401k. I would say if they're matching, go ahead. But if they're matching, you should know, when are you vested? Because if you're switching jobs every 2 to 3 years, but they're saying you need to be there more than 36 months to actually get to be vested, and you're switching jobs 2 years to climb up the ladder, then I wouldn't put my money in there. I'll put it in a self-directed IRA, and I'm investing in real estate through my self-directed IRA. At least I have power on knowing where it's going.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like you're saying, they poo-poo or they talk bad about W-2s when W-2s aren't bad. They, like you said, they're your first partner. They can get you a lot of deals. So I just think maybe it's a lot of people are told, like, hey, get rid of that job and get into real estate. Hey, many people do both. They leverage both.
And do it for you. Like I always tell people, remember, there's a lot of great marketers out there, but you need to follow the people that are actually doing real estate and operate in real estate, because they're great marketers. I see it all the time. Like, man, that's amazing. Can you operate in real estate?
I love it. Well, hey, Noah, I've had a great time chat with you. How, if my listeners, as they've been listening, if they're like, man, I really want to learn more from this guy, I want to dive in deeper in what he's got to say, how can they reach you? What can you do for them so, they can reach out and learn more?
Yeah. I'm available at Noel, Noel, at crowncapitalcorp.com. That's my email address. If you're on Instagram, my Instagram handle is the Christian sex symbol. So yes, there is a little irony around that. I love it because I don't take life too serious. So
yeah,
Christian sex symbol is my handle on Instagram.
Well, you got we got pictures of your shirt off in there or what?
No. It's actually all real estate stuff, but it's a parody because I was born and raised Catholic, so I always kind of I have a sense of humor. So
yeah, no, I love it. That's funny. I like it.
But yeah, it's all real estate stuff on there.
So Christian sex symbol, and then you got the crown. You got your email, and those are the best ways to reach out.
Yep, correct.
Awesome. Well, pleasure having you on here, man. I've learned a lot. And I can feel your energy that like you're excited every day, even though sometimes you take the licks, you're like, hey, let's freaking keep going. But one last thing I had to ask, when you said 4 years of training over in 10 seconds, what did you mean by over in 10 seconds?
It was 100 meters. So I was a 100-meter runner. And, that year, I think the slowest time to make it was like 10:05, so I didn't run fast enough. So I was still in 10 seconds, but it was over.
So you were referring in the fact that like to get to the certain meet you wanted to go to, you didn't qualify. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Man, that is tough.
And there's another lesson real quick in that. My dad and my stepmom was like, well, what are you going to do now? You didn't make the Olympics. What are you going to do now? That's how I ended up in GSK. And you can't let someone else's fears impede your mindset. And I was the last time I let somebody do that, because I let their fears that they were putting on me impact what I was going to do. I was 26 years old. I still was young. I still had enough time to make the tryout for the 2012 games. But it was their own fear of for like me and the love for me that they were like, you need to go work. You need, use your degree, whatever. Because I have a degree in biology and a master's in biochemical engineering. You need to go do it. Don't let nobody's fear impact what you want to do. That's if I can leave you with anything, like, please don't.
That's a good way to end it, man. Thank you so much. Reach out to Noel. You want to learn more? Peace out, everybody.